Don't know. All right. At the same time, they should be bought a class. I think I made about $7. Oh, I like this. Come on, Raggy. What's up, people? I'm kind of here. I'm still setting up. I just got nothing. Why did that take so long to load? What? As minutes time? What are you talking about? I don't know. See, I'm thinking a lot of these are fake. Unless there's something absolutely wrong with the dog, why would they throw it out like that? And why so many people? And how you got such a perfect big camera? Hey, this ain't just a phone camera. I think a lot of this shit's set up. Y'all can hate me or whatever. I'm thinking a lot of it's set up. This shit's set up. That they got the animal themselves and made it look rough. Too many people's been busted too many times doing it. And just watching, I think a lot of it's set up. I want to see this.
So do you have any gymnastics background?
I do actually.
Oh, darling. Hello, do you want to come up here? Come on.
Come on.
Come on. Turn around.
Good with animals, obviously.
Yeah. Good with animals.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Tess. There you go. Yeah. Gymnastics.
Okay.
They even
brave.
pet the dog.
Not that I'm particularly brave, but
Pet it up.
Mark is very brave.
Gonna have balls. Okay.
And just be a good person. Okay, bye, Tess.
Yeah, see, the dog said fuck you because you wouldn't even pet it. You asshole.
This spider.
You're in the middle of an
Man.
interview.
Nobody.
Nah, the Tom Holland's pretty cool.
As
Though.
for content, it's got stuff for both PvP and PvP.
Where's we at?
Actual player numbers. You still
Is
get
New World
player
actually
groups
doing
for
that
the
good?
Meta event.
Where's we at?
Friend Austin, who
Guild
played
Wars 2,
Guild Wars
okay.
2 like crazy.
We go right here.
And I watched him play Guild Wars 2 probably collectively for 40 hours.
Here's where we was at.
Like whenever I say
I'm curious what he has to say about New World, though.
Like I'm saying that after watching him play this game from fucking behind his computer for 40 hours.
What am I killing?
People use the launcher, and the number on MMOpopulations.com is just pulled from thin air. Personally,
Oh, people said that. No, I think that if you explained what I said, like that the number is used to indicate a trajectory, I think Lazy Peon would agree with me instantly. I never made a statement that the number from Steam charts is indicative
Was it
of the
finally gonna
number
stop
of
bleeding?
players. I only said that the
What happens
trends
when I
that
try
the
to
Steam
cook?
chart indicates are indicative of the entire player base.
I think the egg did that to me.
That's what I said.
I'd estimate
Oh,
Guild
sure.
Wars 2 to have between 30 and 50k
Nice
players
try.
online at all times. If you go to Guild Wars 2 Mists.com,
Never even looked
you
at
can
Guild
see that
Wars.
there's a number of EU and NA servers that are straight up full, as well as multiple that are listed as very high. Anecdotally, whenever I play this game, even at 3 AM, you still get 50-player groups forming for the map meta events very
pretty good.
quickly. The game just feels populated. As for content, Guild Wars 2 has an amazing ongoing main storyline, dungeons, raids, equalized PvP arena, large-scale world vs. world battles, fashion collection, the best mount system in the MMORPG genre, and
I heard that.
wide meta.
That's one thing I heard about Guild Wars 2. The best looking and best like maneuverability mounts in all games. But right now, supposedly they got the top of the top. No one can beat it.
Events which usually end in a giant world boss fight.
Not my opinion. It's just what I hear everywhere. I never actually played or looked.
I'm gonna be honest. This is fucking badass.
And epic
Right.
map-wide meta events
Look
which
at this.
usually end in a giant world boss
That's
fight.
really fucking cool.
Definitely a game that's still worth playing.
Call the people.
New World is an MMORPG that
Here's what I'm curious about. We bought, everybody says you need the DLC, which is it on here? Or is it somewhere else? $30 DLC. Hey, do I have New World on here? Yeah, New World right here. No, I even had the test realm. So, oh, I seen it right there. DLC. I had a lot of hopes for this game and it failed me. The mouse looked cool. That's all you give me? That's it? Oh, the mouse look cool, bro. It was different buying a house rather than building.
Nature held sway over Eternal. Then humankind came to rob them of it. But now the time
Hi. Definitely curious about the game, but
will reclaim their dominion.
buying a DLC if the game's any fun now, it's kind of iffy.
All living creatures will bend to our will. And those
I mean, my dude got me on Final Fantasy, which is alright, but there's never anybody to play with. I have no friends on it. Kind of like the game, and I think the game's kind of eh. Oh, that looks cool as fuck. They still got the color system bullshit. Was it like a Medusa? Yeah, Medusa. Okay.
Time has no claim on the eternal.
Why do we keep seeing the same weapon? Is that the only new weapon they added? Somebody's riding a mammoth?
Change will come. eternity wasted on human ambition. Nature must rise and reign.
Mighty lords, let us cleanse these lands.
But the future is fixed for neither man nor beast.
I got a better idea. I mean, the whole area changed, so. Oh, he's mad he has to level up more because the DLC came. Shut the fuck up, dude. What would be you? I missed it. What would be you? Did I close out the window? I didn't mean to close out the window. Sorry, I was reading and reading. I missed it. What was you? 8 days ago. Thank you. Awesome.
How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another video. Today we're going to be looking at if New World is worth starting in this day and age, or worth returning to if you used to play the game. I currently have over 1,700 hours of game time in New World, so now I'll take a step back and evaluate how my journey has been so far, and let you know if I think the game is worth it for you or not. Before we get into that, please consider giving the video a like and subscribe to the channel. It helps out massively. Now, let's get into it. I'll start off by giving you all an overview of the current state of New World.
Nah. You can ride the wolf. I'll be on the
what you can
mammoth.
expect from the early game, mid game, and
But
end
you
game of
don't-
New World
you don't
for
game,
PvP and
so.
PvE players. And then, finally, I'll go over which players I would recommend this game to and which I would not. As most of us know,
I
by
don't
now,
mind
New World's
PvP,
long
but
was
more
horrendous.
PvE.
It pretty much set up unbeatable records for how fast the concurrent player base dropped, with immortality glitches, to money duplications, to insane queue times,
This is why I quit playing a long time ago.
and so much more. that just made the game.
I got stuck in a house.
It was just a disaster. It wasn't entirely unexpected from a newer development studio,
Should have been a beta.
but it still left
Yes,
a sour
I
taste in
am.
a lot of players' mouths. This is why there's a really big population of people who will never come back to this game, and no matter how much work the devs put in to improve the game, they will always talk down on it. And
You
say
could
it's
have
a new
put that
game.
in stream. You
That's
didn't
not
have
to
to
say
send
the
in
game isn't
Discord.
currently in a bad spot, just that there has been a lot of improvements at the same time. In the last 2 years alone, we've seen the game improved massively. First, with a free expansion in Brimstone, which added an impressive new zone with tons more to do in-game, and the addition of Heart Runes, which are like special abilities. Then, we had the Legion Wilds drop, with the revamped zone, mounts that came with their own riding skill line, and even artifacts were released, which are powerful items that only a few of can be equipped at a time, that completely change the way you play the game. With all of these updates, players were let down once again with bugs and delays. A big part of this was due to the engine they used to create New World, and the code behind it. So what did the development team do? They took a step back and rewrote the entire script into a new one that's a lot easier for them to bug fix with. And that has just dropped recently. Again, this dropped with massive bugs though, but they do seem to be finding the root of them and fixing them a lot faster than they were previously.
No matter what most games do, there's usually always bugs. So you can't look at that. Question is, how long does it take for them to fix the fucking bug?
So time will tell if this was the right move or not. But that brings us to now. Since they spent the last few months reworking all the code, the content has been extremely dry, with players having nothing to do, which raised tension amongst the player base. That came to a boiling point when Season 5 got delayed indefinitely. It already had very little new things for players to do, but when the delay got announced, people were fuming. Season 5 has released now, but the players are still not coming back, as the dev team keeps saying we won't be hearing anything about any new content until June. This has a lot of players annoyed, and rightfully so, as getting a roadmap in June is a little late. If we got it in January, the hype alone would have probably been enough to keep the player numbers up until June. Due to hints, we know a few things that are on the roadmap, with swimming and console version of the game almost all but confirmed, which are good things, but it wouldn't be enough to satisfy the player base, after all of the hype and anticipation the dev team is putting behind this June announcement. If it's just those two things, I think it will be the final straw for a lot of players. Console release will bring a lot of new players into the game, which is great for Amazon Game Studio, as well as content creators for the game. But if there's no crossplay, and console players are all on their own servers, a lot of the current PC players will literally get no benefit from a console release. But now we're in limbo, with player numbers hitting all-time lows, and probably no bumps in those numbers until June. You're probably wondering why I would make a video like this, and that's because there's still an audience out there that I recommend this game to. Before I go over
Is this guy trying to troll or he meant to throw something? What is he talking about?
who the audience is, let's look at what you can expect if you were to
Now,
start
that
New
was just
World.
random as
For
fuck.
starters, the early game experience in New World is second to none. You're thrown into the tutorial after a very enticing intro cutscene, and slowly get introduced to a really fun combat experience.
That come out of
Very few
nowhere.
RPGs give you in this day and age.
Because I don't know who that is
Visuals and the world of Eternum are stunning.
or
I also
anything.
find myself stopping and just looking at the environment. New World isn't tab target like a lot of MMOs. It has action combat that leads to really high skill-based battles that are a lot of fun to be a part of. That's not to say it doesn't have its flaws and can still be improved further, but it's a lot more fun than tab target in my opinion. Then, you have the class or skill system. New World allows you to use any weapon you want, and each weapon has their own level, which unlocks more skills as you level it up. It's a great system that really encourages trying.
Now,
new
that's
things,
actually
and you can
funny.
go
You
from
should have
any
led
type
with
to
that
a
one.
light DPS mage with a few
That would be
clicks of a
funny to
button,
even think
allowing you to
about.
really experiment and find your ideal playstyle without having to make alts. I played for several hundred hours as a melee player before falling in love with the fire staff and making that my main weapon of choice. And then there's so many options you can pair it with: a blunderbuss, which is like a massive shotgun, or a rapier, or some kind of magical gauntlets. You can even pair it really well with a great axe, since they added the Abyss artifact into the game. I also really enjoy how simplified it all is.
Because I don't know
It
who
also
this
still has a high
Hector
skill
woman
cap.
is or
You can
anything.
only slot
So
3 skills per weapon, with an ultimate ability as well, so you have to master your movement and cooldown times to outsmart your opponents. I much prefer this over some other games where there's 20 skills on your bar, and you're running through crazy rotations just spamming buttons. Once you get done with
that's one thing I hate. I think that's part of the shit that kills me in World of Warcraft. You know, there's only 600 skills, and you need to have like 40 of them on your bar. It's like,
Tutorial, you're kind of sent off to do your own thing in the world. But there's a really interesting story quest you can choose to follow that they recently completely redid
well,
the launch version of it. That makes the story so much more
oh, my
cinematic.
bracelet's done. Do I need a new
It's the traveling
bracelet?
process when going the main story
Yeah.
quest line route, and just by doing all these
They
missions,
ruined Fast and the
and doing
Furious.
side
Fast and the
quests,
Furious is
you
bullshit
end up at
now.
max level. It's a lot
They
less
ruined
than
that
the grind
long time
than
ago.
the
It used to be
previous ones,
good.
especially with
Used to
mouse speed
love
control,
the show
along
or
with
the
leveling
movie,
your journey
rather.
as well. You'll constantly be finding yourself sidetracked, leveling all of your skill lines.
But it's not even about
faster,
racing anymore.
because it's all just so satisfying and rewarding to do. Whether you're leveling your skinning, logging, mining, fishing, or even your music skill line
Let's
that was added
reset.
recently, which is
I forgot what's the last one, but like Tokyo Drift and all that, fucking awesome. But at one point, I think when they brought The Rock in, that might have been when they fucked it. It's actually a shame too. I really used to like that fucking show or movie. Keep calling it a fucking show. Let's do this so I can get rid of this. That we'll use this one first. We need bracelet of slaughter. Let's go back.
used to get certain bonuses. There's just so much to do.
Hit that pause
And
so I
that's
can
before you
think.
even get into this crafting skills,
Hmm.
which will have you refining everything you get and turning it into gear that you can use or sell for gold. I will say some of the crafting at endgame is a bit cluttered and overly complicated, but it looks as if they will rework all of that very soon and make it a lot better. They recently did so with the cooking skill line, and they mentioned other skills will follow behind it shortly. It really has an old school RuneScape feel when it comes to skilling, which is a game I loved growing up. Eventually, it hit the current level
He's talking about RuneScape. We're on that shit right now.
cap of 65, and from there, you'll just be perfecting your build, gearing up, and getting ready for whatever endgame you want to participate in. So this is what I would consider mid-game. You're level 65. Now you're going to want to be gathering materials to max out your
What's the
artwork,
end game now?
and get all the trophies for your houses to get your buffs, and get the optimal gear for your build. Gearing has become a lot easier, with the new named items having the ability to roll a third skill of your choice. So now you don't have to craft your best in slot items. Instead, you can go hunting a certain mob for an item with 2 perks you want. Then, choose the third perk for a much cheaper, best in slot piece. Plus, one of your weapons, armor, and jewelry will most likely be an artifact, which most are really easy to get. You'll spend this time grinding out dark matter and chromatic seals, which will be used to max out all of your gear with optimal perks, until you finally have the gear you want. And then, it's just about min-maxing. This requires quite a bit of gold to get to this point, but it can be done relatively quickly, and there's tons of ways to make gold in New World. Once you have all of your gear set up, you can start working on your skill line tools, your bags, to be able to carry more and get a couple bonus perks. You can go for crafting and skilling sets to make you more efficient at those skills, or start grinding your PvP track levels. There's just so much to do, and this is pretty much where your endgame starts. You got a great set of gear that makes you a formidable opponent. Now, you're just maxing out the final couple of percentages with things like trophies. Or you
For
can be
what
going for
though?
your second
What's the
set of
end
gear,
game?
for if you like to do multiple things in game. All of these sets can be set up in gear slots, which can be toggled in and out of via the use of hotkeys, which is a new thing they also added recently. At the same time, you can also now decide if you want to be mainly PvP or PvE. I think a healthy mix of both is the best way to play and enjoy the game, but to each their own. For the PvP players, there's a good amount of content for you, but if you've been playing for a while, not a lot of that content is new content. There's Outpost Rush, which is like a domination game mode that's a lot of fun, and recently had cross-server added to it, which makes it easier to get into, even if you're in a low-populated server. Veterans of the game kind of have a love-hate relationship with this game mode though, because it hasn't been changed in so long, not even the map, so they're basically playing the same game mode over and over, for so long, hoping for something new.
That's
The warrior game
stupid.
mode that focuses on smaller scale combat will be 3v3 arenas. This is a lot of fun despite having its rewards nerfed recently, and no cross-server yet for it, so sometimes finding a game can be a bit of an issue. But essentially, it's 3 players against another 3 players, and the team with the most wins by the end wins the mode. It's simple but fun, and it's great for getting better at PvPing. There's also a newer mode that they added called Races, in which at certain times of the day, for an hour, a zone will be thrown into conflict, and all 3 factions will fight over that zone. If you enjoy PvP, you can flag up, find a team, and go fight in these. Be warned though, it's pretty zergy, and can get a bit laggy if you don't have the best computer or internet. And then, if you really love PvP, you can flag up for PvP at all times when you're doing anything in the open world. So if you're out gathering or questing, and you have your PvP flag on, and you see another opponent who's also flagged up, you can fight it out to the death. These open world fights can be a lot of fun, because you'll find yourself fighting in all kinds of crazy areas and scenarios. If you're struggling to find other people flagged up to PvP against, there's also these things called faction control points, which you'll get PvP XP for capturing from an enemy faction. So you can head over to these to capture them, or if you see on the map one's being captured, you can head there to fight the people who are capturing it. Then, there's the wars. For those of you who are top tier PvPers, each zone will be owned by companies in the game, and will be fought over in a kind of castle siege game mode. Whoever wins gets the territory, and an insane amount of gold along with it. Because of this, there are massive hardcore companies built around territory control, and to get into these wars requires you to be very well geared and very good at the game. There is still a chance you can be randomly slotted for a war every once in a while when companies don't have enough members, but usually you'll just end up on the side that's getting steamrolled. Wars can be a lot of fun and very intense, but it's hard to get into one, so a lot of you probably won't be seeing much of this content.
So how it was before. Everybody get on. And there's different factions. You got the green, the red, purple, red, something like that. And like all the main players that's actually competing be in one zone. That's all your big companies. So there's never really a challenge or anything. Like shit hardly ever switches. Everybody on one side.
The whole time you're doing all these activities, you'll be getting PvP XP, which will increase your PvP rank, allowing you to unlock cool rewards at each tier, including armors, emotes, artifacts, special housing items, and much, much more. The higher you get, the better your rewards become, so it's really worth doing. Now, for a newer player, that might sound like a decent amount of endgame PvP content, and you'd be right, but at the same time, the veterans who only PvP in New World have a real issue with the PvP content in the game so far. A lot of these game modes came out long ago, and haven't been touched much since, so these PvP players have been playing the same game modes over and over for years, at the same time seeing more and more PvE content added to the game, with the PvP side being neglected. As a person who enjoys both aspects of the game, I do still see why the PvP players are annoyed, and agree more love needs to be shown their way. It does seem as if the dev team has heard them though, as in a recent Q&A video, but what if you were more into the PvE side of the game? Then there's still loads of options for you, aside from going the completionist route, getting all of the achievements, maxing all the skill lines and weapons, and unlocking all the transmog in the game. The main thing PvE players are doing is mutated expeditions, which are endgame dungeons on a higher difficulty level, with the mobs within them getting crazy buffs to make them difficult for you to complete. Every week, 3 different mutations are mutated out of the current 12 expeditions. Players will be grinding these for the items they drop, and also to set new completion records. Recently, a new group finder has been added into the game for expeditions, which makes life a lot easier for the people who enjoy running these. There's also season-long leaderboards for these expeditions, along with the PvP content, that if you rank high enough on, by the end of the season, can see you getting some prestigious armor, which a lot of people strive for. Along with this, there will also be endgame trials, like the Winter Rune Forge or the Hatchery, and even elite trials, like the Sandworm, which will require you to work with a larger team to take down these challenging bosses for big rewards. But there's just infinite things you can do as a PvE endgamer, whether you want to be a fishing main and just fish all day making your gold that way, or you can play the in-game market trying to get to the gold cap. There's also a really cool housing system in the game with tons of unique furniture, and you can own 3 houses per character, so I like to manipulate furniture to make crazy houses in the game. My most recent house, I used cabinets to make a wooden roof patio for my house and built a little showroom up there. I'm also currently working on getting unique transmog looks for all of my gathering skill gear sets. Some people will just throw on some podcasts and go around chopping down trees. Others are all about the transmog. Hell, some people even like to just sit in global chat all day talking about politics and religion and consider that endgame. It's really whatever you make of it. But that brings us to if I would recommend this game or not, after spending almost 2,000 hours in it. And it's pretty much a yes for most people, but for others, no. Let me explain a bit further. If you've never played this game before, I highly recommend this game. You'll have tons of content to run through, and by the time you're getting through it all, new content should be getting announced and released. I also like to wait for a sale, so I would recommend that. But even at full price, I think it's massively worth it, especially since there's no sub fee for the game, and the cash shop is very fair, with pretty much no pay to win. If you do end up enjoying this game, the Elysian Wilds expansion is pretty much a necessity, because it allows you to get to level 65, get artifacts, and even your mount, which is pretty vital. We can always test the game out and see if you enjoy it before getting this. Again, sales happen often, so you could wait for the expansion to go on sale. If you're a player who has the game, but quit shortly after launch, 100% you should come give it a second go. There's been so much improvement since then, and I think you'll enjoy the game a lot more now. You will eventually need to buy the expansion if you enjoy the game, but jump in, see if you like it, and then maybe when the expansion goes on sale, grab it for cheap and finish off your character.
RPG that released in 2021 with a peak of 1 million players. Shortly after launch, though, the game's player population plummeted for months due to numerous issues such as game-breaking bugs, poor game design, a lack of content, and a damaged economy.
Also duping.
Thankfully, since the Brimstone Sands expansion that released in October 2022,
They're gonna make this a
New
raid,
World has
apparently.
clawed its way back from mixed to very positive reviews on Steam, and it's
Yeah, I would say so. I think that most people that play New World right now actually like the game. New World is a lot better.
Its player numbers have soared from 13k average concurrent to around 50 to 60k. Due to the fact this game is only available on Steam currently, the Steam charts numbers are an accurate representation of New World's
They're
actual
direct.
player numbers, which isn't the case for most.
It's about where you want the viewers for a newer streamer, low-end streamer. About 1 to 5K. How many people streaming? Not that many people. So if I was to play this game, I would have a chance. What about, how you doing, Tim Tim? That is fucking the door now. It's a shame. What's going on here?
Doing that, but I understand the purpose. Trying to get.
Most MMOs on this list. If you've never played New World before, this is an open world action combat MMORPG with one of the best gathering systems in the MMO genre. A solid crafting system, voice acted main quest line, classless combat system.
There's actually a lot of the secondary quests in the Brimstone Sands that are also voice acted. I do plan on coming back and playing New World again sometime very soon. I just want to finish up Valheim.
System PvP in the form of open worlds, arenas and battlegrounds, and PvE in the form of event world bosses, dungeons, and elite mob open world farming.
I might put it as our donation
New
goal.
World will go from strength to strength.
See if we end
with
up
each
playing New
update,
World.
And this time next year will probably have even more players than it does now if it continues to release positive updates.
New World, also another good thing with it is if you buy the game, you can come back and play it whenever you want. It's the same as Guild Wars 2. It's buy to play.
I mean, like they say now, though, you really need the DLC.
Elder Scrolls Online has been one of the most played MMORPGs ever since it released back in 2014. It's an MMO that receives frequent updates, it's reviewed very positively, and receives plenty of coverage from content creators on YouTube. As for content, it's got stuff for both PvP and PvE players. You've got Cyrodiil, which is a massive open-world PvP zone with territory control and siege mechanics.
Yeah, I did that once. I
Battlegrounds,
thought
I
that was
went-
pretty cool.
Went back to this game 3 times. I
Raids,
give up.
crafting and gathering, player housing, an immersive main story for each zone, as well as world events. This game basically has something for everyone.
I never really got into Elder Scrolls. Like, I never really played Skyrim. I played Oblivion.
Skyrim and shit was awesome.
And then after that, I didn't play any of those games. Yeah, I'm serious.
Elder Scrolls Online falls into the theme park MMO category with an action combat
I'll try the
hybrid
new one when
system
it
which
comes
some
out.
people
My
find to be quite
werewolf.
polarizing due to animation cancelling and weapon swap mechanics.
Yeah, I've heard animation
As for
canceling's a
player
big
numbers,
thing in
it's
that
hard to
game.
get an accurate concurrent player count because this game is available on multiple different platforms and launchers. It's on Steam, but most people play through the ESO launcher, and it's also available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series XS. I'd personally estimate ESO to have between 75 and 100k players online at all times across all platforms.
I would probably say ESO is bigger than New World. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Most importantly though, the game feels populated when you play it, and it's easy to find groups and guilds. Old School RuneScape is the most popular of the two RuneScape versions,
Yep.
with between
We played this
57k and 107k players online at any given time, depending on the time of day. OSRS is a game that I personally love, and it's an MMO that you can literally spend thousands of
that
hours
quest.
in to try and max out your account to experience all of the content. Old School RuneScape also has, in my opinion, the most top tier content creators on YouTube out of any MMORPG, with Settled's Swampletics series possibly being one of the greatest MMO video series ever made.
I've actually never watched that. Maybe one day I'll take a look at it.
Old School RuneScape is
Yeah,
all
I've never
about
watched
creating
it
your own
before.
goals. It's a sandbox MMO where you choose what stats you want to level, what order you want to tackle the quests, and what restrictions, if any, you want to place on yourself. I've heard from many people that playing OSRS as an Iron Man where you can't trade with other players or receive help is one of the most satisfying MMO experiences you can possibly get, and it's something I plan on trying out myself really soon.
I don't know if I'd like that.
OSRS is available on both mobile and PC, and even in 2023 it's a super easy game to recommend.
I'm always tempted to try an Iron Man. Just to do it nice and slow. Like right now, I have them fishing and just cooking. My problem is I don't want to buy another membership. I think that's stupid.
This isn't just nostalgia talking, by the way, it's objectively one of the best designed MMORPGs ever created. Albion
It also has a lot of people that play it too. I mean, like, that's a huge
A shit
factor.
ton.
A lot of people play the game.
Online is one of the most successful MMORPGs to come out of crowdfunding, and since releasing cross-platform on mobile, the game's player population absolutely popped off. The latest numbers we have is from June 2021, where the game reached 271k daily active accounts.
Wow.
And since then, the game's had numerous massive updates, which could have caused that number to go even higher. When
Holy
it comes to
shit.
daily concurrent player
I
numbers,
feel like it probably didn't go higher, because if it went a lot higher, they probably would have said so. But, you know, I could be wrong about that.
I think a fair estimate would be between 60 and 120k players online at any given time. Whenever I play
I hear
Albion
good
Online, I
things
go
about
to
this
a main
game.
city, and there's so many players that not all of them even load in. This is because the game has one mega server, so every
You mean like every single MMO in history from now on should have one mega server? Not a bunch of other bullshit servers where it's like, oh, I'm on this server and it's a dying server and this other server's overpopulated. Nope.
Yeah,
It should
I
just
hate
be
that.
one massive mega server. Servers are a technological limitation, and they only serve to divide players in a game where playing together is one of the
I mean, at
highest
least with RuneScape, you can just switch. You can go to anywhere you want. So it's not really servers, but whatever. It is servers. You can just go wherever you want. Every time you come in, it's not a new character. World of Warcraft, oh, you want to go somewhere else? Pay, now blah, blah, blah. All these other games, Final Fantasy, like,
values.
everyone from Europe, North America, and
Servers
Asia are all
suck.
playing together. Now, this is great for the purpose of having a thriving economy and a world that feels rammed with players, but depending on where you live, the ping can put you at a disadvantage, with servers located in Washington, D.C. Albion
I don't even
Online
know
is a
what that
true sandbox MMORPG. All of the gear in this game is crafted by the players. There's certain areas of the world that have full loot PvP, and players can even buy the crafting stations in the city and get a tax kickback whenever somebody uses
New
them.
World has that too.
Over the years, Albion has added so much variety of content to the game that there's something for everyone. Solo PvP, group PvP, high risk PvP, zero risk PvP, and the same can be said for pure PvE players. I'll cut my rambling about Albion Online here, but TLDR, it's a highly popular MMO that has something for everyone, constant massive updates, and it's definitely worth playing.
That's cool.
Black Desert Online.
Yeah, I think good for them. I mean, obviously, I haven't played the game before, but I have strongly considered it. Same with Black Desert. I played this game on release. I went super hard. I was on the leaderboards for, like, highest level. I think it was called Growth at that time. I don't know if it still is. Like, you know, who has the highest level on the server. Anytime I logged on, I was on that fucking list. And I played the shit out of this game. I quit before they even added in Awakenings.
Love it or hate
wanted
it,
to go back and
this
try it again.
MMORPG is absolutely huge. The only data we have for this game is the Steam chart.
They want
numbers for
money
NA/EU
constantly, them
on
fuckers.
PC, but that doesn't take into consideration that most people don't play it from Steam. The game's available on PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, as well as multiple regions such as Korea, Southeast Asia, Russia, Middle East, and South America.
The way that you
Across-
the way you upgrade your gear in BDO is like, imagine if you want to get a new phone, okay? So let's say you want an iPhone, let's say 9. I don't know which iPhone they're at. The way you get an iPhone 9 is you take 2 iPhone 8s and you beat them against each other, and there's like a 50% chance that they both break and you lose both your iPhone 8s. But, you know, there's a 50% chance that those 2 phones come together and they become an iPhone 9. That's the way this game works with its upgrade system.
all
What the
platforms and
fuck?
regions, I'd have to estimate that Black Desert Online has at least 100 to 175k players logged in at all times, possibly even higher. BDO is a Korean sandbox MMORPG with the best action combat system in the MMO genre. In this game, you'll spend a lot of time mob grinding, PvPing with other players for your grind spot, leveling your life skills, building your worker empire, and trying to figure out the best way to make money on your 2,000 plus hour grind to maxing out your gear. At endgame, you'll be partaking in
2,000
PvP node wars, castle sieges, dungeons, boss challenges, praying to the RNG gods for a tier 10 horse, or decorating your instanced player house for ERP underwear parties.
Oh, wow.
Is BDO still worth playing? Honestly, that depends on 2 things. 1, have you got anything better to do? And 2, how big is your bank balance?
True.
Lost Ark is the most popular top-down
How big your bank balance? That's what killed me with the game.
MMORPG by far. This game exploded on Steam when it released in the West in 2022, reaching highs of 1
What you doing, woman?
million concurrent players.
Lost Ark on release was absolutely fucking insane. People were going apeshit on that. 500k cap? No, this is probably accurate. You're not, like, he says average daily concurrent players is 500k to 750k. That's probably true. You have a massive Russian server. You have massive Korean servers.
You better be
That's
getting
not
work
even
done.
mentioning Korea,
Like
where the game
he's
is
adding all
also
these together.
absolutely massive. Since launch, Lost Ark's player numbers have dropped, with one big reason being the devs constantly trying to combat bots, which some players claim account for 50% of the numbers we see on Steam charts.
I think that's an understatement.
In 2022, Lost Ark saw 260k concurrent players on the Korean servers
You've been in some
following
trouble.
a big update. So all things considered, I think globally across all servers, a conservative estimate without bots would be that Lost Ark has between 300k and 600k real players online at any given time across all servers. NA, EU, Korea, Russia, and Japan.
I would say that's
now,
probably
that number
accurate,
could be
sure.
higher, but I think it's reasonable to put Lost Ark as the number 3 most popular MMORPG. So is the game any good? Yes. As much as some people slate Lost Ark for being pay to win, I think by Korean MMO standards, the pay to win isn't nearly as bad as other games.
Which means it's very bad. Yeah, I do think that obviously Lost Ark is a great game. I think that it's very sad to me that Lost Ark is in the position that it's in, because it wouldn't be that hard, in my opinion, to make the game amazing. It's just a few degrees off of amazing. Just change some tuning and change some percentages, and you're done. Like, the gameplay is great. The raids are great. The combat is great. Like, a lot of the systems, like, you know, getting the little seeds and your fucking skill point potions and the masterpieces, I think that stuff is great. There's just a few things that are trash.
In fact, I think you can fully enjoy Lost Ark completely free to play, or
Your
just with the
time.
optional subscription. As for content, the game has a ton of horizontal progression, collectibles, completionism, equalized PvP arenas, the best
Come on, where's
isometric
bigger,
action
better
combat
at?
system in the MMO genre, some of the best raids in the MMO genre, fashion collecting, daily bosses, minigames, mounts, and player
This is the
housing in the
part
form
that
of
we get to, then we
strongholds.
wipe.
The game actually has even more stuff than that, but TLDR, yes, it's worth playing.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV. It's extremely difficult to even estimate the average concurrent player numbers for this game for the following reasons. The Steam chart numbers represent a tiny fraction of the player base that actually play via Steam. The game is available on PlayStation 3, 4 and 5, as well as being available in multiple regions, and we have no official numbers by the developers in regards to how many people actually play this game daily. Given the fact that Final Fantasy XIV made $511 million gross revenue in the year during the Endwalker release, we can roughly estimate that the game has between 2 to 2.5 million monthly subscribers. The game has a $12.99 monthly sub fee, they sell various services and cosmetics on the MOG store, and the new expansion costs $40 to buy, so with a little bit of napkin math, I think those numbers are somewhat accurate.
I think maybe somewhere around there. It's very hard to be sure about this kind of stuff, and I think that really you're always just playing a guessing game. But how many average concurrent people log on to Final Fantasy a day? I would say probably between like 500 to 2 million, somewhere around there.
That's a big...
Like I'd say 2 million on expansion releases, maybe something like that. And, 500 in like lulls and content.
This down further into concurrent players, each server in Final Fantasy XIV can handle a maximum of between 6,000 to 10,000 players online at any given time. The game has 69 servers across multiple regions, so a maximum concurrent player count of between 400 and 700k players online at any given time seems reasonable. During the Endwalker expansion release, a lot of the servers had login queues in the range of 15 to 20k,
yeah, this was really bad.
So at its absolute peak, the game had well over 1.5 million people trying to play the game.
There it is.
None of this really matters though. What really matters is that Final Fantasy XIV is a highly social, active MMORPG where you'll easily be able to find guilds, groups, and people to hang out with at any time of the day.
At endgame. So you gotta play 1,500 hours, get to your end game for any of that. That's the problem I'm having with that game right now.
If you're a fan of catgirls and trying to nice guy your way into the pants of another guy role-playing as a female character, then there's no better MMO out there for you.
That's what
People
I hear.
generally consider Final Fantasy XIV to have top-tier raiding, top-tier story, top-tier fashion, and top-tier roleplay. If you're a PvP player or fan
I think Final Fantasy is like kind of the foundation that you're going to see a lot of other games emulate. That it's a single-player game that has multiplayer MMORPG aspects. And we're seeing more games do that.
Sandbox MMOs and don't care about story, it might not be the game for you though. The last time World of Warcraft published official player numbers was back in 2015 when it hit an all-time low of 5.5 million subs during the Warlords of Draenor content drought. Now that was 7 years ago at this point, but with the release of WoW Classic TBC, Wrath of the Lich King Classic and Dragonflight, interest in WoW seems to have had a bit of a resurgence in recent years.
I think a lot of people are back excited about WoW again because Dragonflight is good and Old War is coming out. It just makes sense that people are going to be excited about WoW again. And also, I think that you have to remember that so many people have played WoW over the years that, like, the amount of people that are interested in the game and want to see content for it is tremendous. It's fucking huge.
A lot of old veteran players returned to the game for classic servers, but stuck around and transitioned to retail when they burned through all the classic content.
Which is good.
Anecdotally, all of my WoW friends returned to the game for Dragonflight, which seems to be one of the most well-received expansions in years so far.
Yes, it is. Dragonflight is the first expansion since I don't even remember when that the game comes out and, like, it's not worse because of the expansion.
Additionally, someone made an estimated WoW Classic population chart by extrapolating data from raid passes, which puts the Classic population...
Legion on release was horrible. It was absolutely fucking horrible. People hated it.
...at around 500,000.
Go back and watch the videos.
We don't truly know how many players WoW has in total, but it's probably somewhere in the region of 4.5 million subscribers, with 1 to 2 million daily concurrent players. World of
say probably
Warcraft doesn't
more.
seem to be going anywhere anytime soon, and as of making this video, Blizzard recently
maybe
released
not,
a
now the
roadmap
China's
for the
one.
current expansion for the first time ever. Blizzard and World of Warcraft have been generating a lot of Ws recently,
Yeah.
and community sentiment around the game seems to be quite positive. If there was ever a time to play World of Warcraft, now seems like the best time in years to jump into it. But
I would
that's
say
it for the
so.
most played MMORPGs heading into 2023. I really did my best to give some somewhat realistic player population estimates during this video, as the
Yeah, I think it's important to keep in mind that, like, any of these estimates or anything like this, like, nobody really has any fucking idea. We're all just kind of guessing.
data that's constantly referenced in websites such as mmopopulations.com and activeplayers.io is clearly off by a lot.
Yeah, it's just bullshit.
Maybe my numbers are slightly off in this video, but what I'm quite confident on is the order in which I've placed these games. Honestly though, past a certain point, player numbers don't really matter.
No.
If you're playing an MMO that has 20k concurrent players on a single server, but only a total of 60k daily players, you're going to meet more players out in the world than an MMO with 1 million subscribers, but with servers that can only support 5 to 10k concurrent.
That's a lot for WoW. I would say that, you know, there's a lot of people that play WoW, and, like, you don't see enough people out in the world, I think. I think the sharding in WoW really hurts the game.
What really matters is that you're able to beat all of the content and find players to group up with to do that. Once that becomes too time consuming, then the game will start to feel dead, even if that isn't necessarily the case when you look at the overall data. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, then help me out with a like for the algorithm gods, and let me know in the comments below if you think this list will be slightly different heading into 2024. Shout out to Hero Wars for the sponsorship today. Click the link in the description
Alright.
below to download the game. Social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
That was a pretty good video, I'd say. I think those estimates are pretty accurate. I'm going to go ahead and link it to you guys. We've watched a lot of Lazy Peon videos over the years, okay? You guys know him. I do too. I've been watching his videos ever since he was the Lazy Peon, because he was a WoW-centric YouTube channel. That was quite a while ago. That was back whenever I was starting out on YouTube too. We'll give it a like. This is a good video. I think it was accurate too. Let's see here. They banned me for cheating when I didn't. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I have no idea. Are there any casual MMOs? I liked Lost Ark, but it honestly felt like a job with alts and daily stuff. I think WoW is a really
Not sure where to go fish for lobster. As a freebie. This woman.
Vanilla Peaches here. Today I'm going to talk you through a super easy and efficient way for free-to-play members, or free-to-play people, to catch lobsters and store lobsters super easy and efficiently. So, as you will know, you need level 40 fishing. You will need 30 coins to get to Karamja. You will need to go to Port Sarim, which is here on the map, to find the NPCs to go to Karamja. So the quickest thing to do is to just pay fair, so like right click And then we select yes please. Oh, and you also need a lobster pot as well. So we are at Karamaja. Cool. So this is my inventory. The lobster fishing spot, as you probably know, is down where the little fish is. So we make our way down to the little fish. And this may seem all like really standard at the moment, but what I'll show you at the end, you'll be like, wow. Because I remember back in the like actual old RuneScape from ages ago, we had to like run all the way to this bank to store all of our lobsters. You know, this is pretty easy here at your lobsters. Wonder what a lobster's worth these days. 236 gold. Yeah, if you catch lobsters at level 40, then it's not terrible. Okay, so now we make our way back to Port Sarim. Running.
That's too much running.
Okay, and now we talk to the little blue.
Hello friends, bringing you episode 10 of Free-to-Play Money Making Guides. Crazy to think I'm at episode 10 already, seems like not that long ago I started this series. Let's go for another 10 more episodes, let's get it. As always in last episode we made 65k, bringing our total made from all episodes to 1 mil and 71k. We should get over 1.1 mil in this episode, so let's get right into the method. So in today's video, we are going to be fishing lobsters in Karijima. This is one of those nostalgic methods like cut and use that I did a few episodes ago. Keep in mind I have 60 fishing in this video, so a lower level could hurt your profits, just like having a higher level could help your profits. Now to fish lobsters, you're going to need 40 fishing, a lobster pot, and some GP, at least a few K for travel, using the ships at Port Sarim to get to Karijima and back so you can use the deposit box for banking. It would also be useful to have completed the quest Pirate's Treasure, as it will allow you to use the pay fare option for the boat without having any dialogue. Assuming you have all these requirements, I'll now show you how to get to the lobster fishing location in Karijima on screen. After doing this method for 10 minutes, I caught 28 lobsters, which I actually thought I would have caught more with 60 fishing.
Dog's going nuts. Something's going on. Hang on, Mom lost her phone again. Old timers, y'all. Well, shit, be too bad. One little one.
Is the cat using it?
What? You good?
Yeah, that's where Slick likes to sit in the window.
What? You don't want to be in here? It's too hot. Wow. What?
Watching him.
Usually he comes sits around this table. He'll sit around this table. Mm-hmm. All the time. I'll give him a bed in here somewhere. Back to trying to figure this out. Oh. I got an auto account going. I'm iffy on. I just wanted to help make money. And do like minor shit. It's the same shit I was gonna do with an Iron Man, but ain't no sense because I always gotta drink pots anyway, man. I might get 1 or 2 kills per prayer bar. That's really not AFK at all for me. If I just do protection prayer, it'd be AFK. What is it? Shift click? Oh, how do you do the shift click? Hmm. So shift. There we go. See, I'm already aggravated with this because I'd rather at least be doing lobsters, but it's in the member area.
Could have been unlucky, but who knows. Anyways, taking those 28 lobsters, we made 5,876 GP with the cost of the fare from the ships taken into account. If we multiply that 5,876 GP by 6 for a 4-hour, we made 35,256 GP.
Yeah, then you gotta
Bonds at
run.
the time of this video cost 4.9 mil, so using this method to achieve a bond would take approximately 140 hours. You would also gain 2.1 mil fishing XP in the time you did this method. I would rate this method a 7.5 out of 10. Although nice that it's AFK, crafting methods would yield higher profits and they are semi-AFK. As well, lobsters are bought at quite a bit, so the price can drop even more. Still a nice method, getting 40 fishing isn't hard, and if you're looking for an AFK method where you don't have to pay attention for a few minutes, this method is for you, and it's better than use, which have a higher level requirement at 60 woodcutting. Anyways, that's it for this method, and if you enjoyed
All
this
that
video,
running and shit.
subscribe and like the video as it helps with the YouTube algorithm.
It shouldn't be. I mean, because it seems like we're hitting more often with this weapon. I don't even know what they're weak to. He's like, you don't give a shit. I'm like, I'm just trying to use my best weapon. It's a slay shit. The last time he was here at the whip, who was saying, was it you? Oh, just wait until you get the fang. Tear through the blood veils. I mean, we're doing
Really good casual.
better than
now.
a Sarah Dome and God sword,
I
I'll tell you that.
People say it is. New World's pretty good for that.
Give a
I mean,
fuck.
I don't know. That's
I like
go with
shit.
that. Yeah, how about there? Guild Wars? Yeah, I don't play Guild Wars 2. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, I'm looking to probably.
I
go
got
back
a
and
clue
play, like, New
bottle.
World a bit more.
Fuck that thing.
Get back into Lost Ark, do that some more, and just in general, keep up with a lot of these games. I enjoy them. I also plan on playing more like single player games and other stuff like that. Like, you know, just not just MMOs. Final Fantasy is casual, but the thing is, you pay monthly. Some people rather rush content while they're paying monthly, though.
I wonder how much
Yeah,
slower it is if I
think
turn
that
off
over
piety.
time, we're going to see more and more games go towards the Lost Ark payment model. Not pay to win, like, I mean, probably with that too, but like, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how, like, you can play Lost Ark for free, but you just have a lot of handicaps that if you pay a subscription, those handicaps disappear. So I think that more games should use that, because the truth is that so many games nowadays are free to play. It's very hard for a game to make a value proposition that's compelling enough for people to pay a monthly subscription. That's the truth. Yeah, RuneScape membership, something like that. Exactly. We try Throne and Liberty. Absolutely, I'm really excited to play it. I can't wait till it comes out, and whenever it does come out, I'm going to play it. Yeah, I'll play every new MMO that comes out. I've said that before, but I will say it again. What handicaps would you add to WoW? I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I have no idea. Why? Then it's all just monetized to shit? Well, because...
There we go.
This is going to be a brutally honest MMO tier list. Let me know if you
Sure.
agree or disagree with my rankings. I've made some big changes to this tier list based on the decisions of the developers over the last year as we head into 2024. So the first game we're going to talk about is World of Warcraft Classic, which has benefited from those adjustments thanks to the actions of Blizzard over the last year. Launched in 2019, WoW Classic is a relaunch of the original game. Despite this, it's one of the largest MMOs in the world, sitting behind only a few MMOs in terms of player base size. It's a classic take on the MMO experience. Minimal
now we can-
gear is earned in-game. Weapon cosmetics can be earned in-game. Mounts can be earned in-game. It's everything I could hope for in an MMO. Last year, I put it in A tier because I was worried WoW Classic might be forgotten by Blizzard, but the opposite has happened. They're even adding new content to it from the last time you played it. Next up, we have Ion, released in 2009 in the East and 2010 in the West. Ion saw great success in Korea, but just couldn't seem to retain its players here in the West. It went free to play in 2012, and with that change came pay for convenience and pay to win transactions. This game was so unique when it launched. It was gorgeous, and gliding around the zones was just a ton of fun. The game is now a shell of its former self, and might be fun to play more than that today. Next up, we have one of the newer MMOs and a definite rising star in the MMO genre, and that's going to be Albion Online. Albion Online is a free-to-play MMORPG launched in 2017 and has done a good job of growing its player base. It's a classless MMO in which the gear you wear determines the abilities you use. It's got a massive passive tree to work your way through. This is the best full loot PvP MMO available if you're looking for one. It's on a fantastic trajectory with 5 years of player growth in a row, and it keeps getting better. So because of all of the great progress this game has made over the last year and the fact that it's continuing to grow year over year, I'm going to be bumping this MMO up from B tier to A tier, particularly for you PvP mains out there. If you're a PvE main, then your mileage may vary. Now, let me take a second to tell you about Zenless Zone Zero real quick. If you're tired of opening up Steam and looking at the same old list of games that you've been burnt out on for next up, we have ArcAge, and this one's pretty important. ArcAge launched in Korea in 2013 and in the West in 2014. ArcAge is a sandpark MMORPG that was known for featuring a massive explorable ocean, a crime and punishment system, a combo-based tab targeting system, and it launched really well, but they completely failed to prevent cheaters, and then oftentimes the people that weren't cheating were multi-boxing and abusing the game's labor system. It was an MMO with so much wasted potential that it's part of the reason Ashes of Creation is being worked on today. However, ArcAge 2 is also in development, so that means Ashes is going to have a bit of competition, unless ArcAge 2 is also pay to win, in which case AOC will have pretty free reign over this genre of MMO. But back to ArcAge 1, the game is well past its prime and it's pay to win, so for me, the best I'm going to be able to put it at is a C. Next, we have Black Desert Online, which launched in 2015 and is still one of the most beautiful MMOs out there today. It's often praised for its combat and its graphics, with the primary downside of this MMO being a significant lack of group content for the players to enjoy. The most recent expansion added a lot of great PvE content for players who are looking for more to do outside of the PvP side of things. In recent years, the game has changed publishers and has seen a lot of things that were overtly pay to win removed from the game. It's also added a lot of quality of life to the game that you previously had to pay for. So because of the changes the developers making to the game and because of the great content,
So they
continuing to
changed
be added to
shit,
the
huh?
game, I'm going to go ahead and raise BDO from B tier to A tier. Next up, we've got Bless Unleashed, launched in 2020. They keep remaking it and re-releasing it, but it never survives. Is it the pay to win? Is it the lack of depth? Maybe it's all of the above. There just seems to be a lot missing from Bless Unleashed and its predecessors, and it might be time to make something entirely new. As a result of all of this, Bless Unleashed has shut down entirely. So the best we're going to be able to do for this one is put it in the D tier. Next up, we have an old but important MMO to discuss, and I left this one off my list last time, and you guys rightfully called me out on it, so here we go. We're gonna add it in, and that's gonna be Dark Age of Camelot, released in 2001. This game was one of the pioneers of open world PvP done right in the MMO scene. Dark Age of Camelot left a mark on the MMO genre more visible than almost any other MMO today. Its tri-faction open world siege warfare system was so popular that it was the foundation for PvP in massive MMOs like Elder Scrolls Online, Warhammer Online, and Guild Wars 2. You can still play DAOC today. It still boasts a small but loyal player base. It's far from its prime, but it could be fun to go back and play for nostalgia's sakes, so I'm going to go ahead and put Dark Age of Camelot in the C tier. Next up, we have DC Universe Online, a superhero MMO that I never quite got into. Launched in 2011, I have yet to get into superhero MMOs myself. I'm not sure why, but they've never called to me like fantasy and sci-fi MMOs have. I do recognize that a good number of people did enjoy this game, however, and some still continue to enjoy it today, and servers are still up and running for it. So we'll go ahead and put this one here at C tier. It's still something that you can go and play if you never had a chance to, or you can go back to and just ride that nostalgia wave one more time. Next up, we have Elion, an absolute mess. Nothing has really changed for this one. It launched pay to win, and unfortunately for it, it wasn't good enough for players to want to spend time in the world in spite of that. It launched in Unreal Engine 3 while modern MMOs were releasing in Unreal Engine 5, and the graphics were dated at best. But most damning of all for this MMO is that no one's playing the game because it shut down entirely. The cash shop was full of creative problem to sell you the solution, and they didn't do a great job disguising
Don't even
it.
show me the
was
game
actually
then.
decent, and as always, I can't help but wonder what kind of success it might have had if it focused on creating a good experience instead of getting you to open your wallet. Unfortunately for Elion, they didn't do that, and so the game was shut down in less than a year in the West, and then it was shut down everywhere else in 2023. The MMO was a spectacular cautionary tale of what happens if your MMO is too pay to win, and for all of these reasons, we're gonna have to go ahead and place it in the D tier. And if I could, I would put this one even lower than that. Next up, we have one of today's MMO behemoths, and that's gonna be Elder Scrolls Online. Online launched in 2014. Elder Scrolls Online is a solid MMO that I've got a lot of hours in. It's got incredible dungeons, amazing voice acting, and a lot of stuff you'll love from the Elder Scrolls franchise. Since the last time I made an MMO tier list, ESO has seen a lot of improvements in some of the critical areas. Over the last year, ESO has seen a lot of great additions to the game. They had a massive new expansion where they added a brand new class that the community has absolutely loved. It has also added some significant earnable rewards to the game, such as some new mounts, and these were my biggest gripes about ESO leading up to this year, so it's great to see them tackling them. The game features an action combat system, making it a love it or hate it point of interest for a lot of players. Just watch out for those loot crates. They're tighter than a superhero spandex. So if you're looking for an amazing story-driven MMO with great voice acting and no subscription, then there's not really a better option out there than Elder Scrolls Online. And for this
There's a
reason, we're going to go
subscription.
ahead and
You don't have to
in the
pay
A
it, but you
tier.
get
Next up,
benefits.
we've got another oldie, but a goodie. It's EVE Online. EVE Online launched in 2003 and is a great game that's still getting tons of support from its developers 2 decades after its launch. Not too long ago, they overhauled the new player experience, drastically improving the first few hours of the game for new players. There are a lot of people who absolutely love this game and have spent tons of time in it. And while I have thoroughly enjoyed my time in the game, it does not check a lot of the boxes that I personally want to check when I play an MMO. It lacks the dungeons and the raids that are core to my MMO experience. However, what it lacks in dungeons and raids, it makes up for with large-scale PvP battles in space, which is amazing. EVE Online is a great game, being supported by its developers today, but it is a very niche game, and for this reason, we're going to go ahead and put it here in the B tier. Next up, we've got one of the grandfathers of the MMO genre, and that's going to be EverQuest Online, launched in 1999. There's not a lot to say about EverQuest that hasn't already been said. It's a classic. It's one of the forefathers of the MMO genre. Before WoW, when no one knew what an MMO was, EverQuest was there, forging its path. It still has a community, although it's a small one. It was the king of the genre in its prime, but it's old now and has long since handed over its crown. It was great in its day, but could never be my main MMO today. EverQuest is a game that carries a ton of great memories for people, and once upon a time, it was the MMO to play. Today, however, it's a small community with small updates, and it's probably best enjoyed as a little trip down nostalgia lane. It's not going to be something that's going to be your main MMO for a long period of time, and for that reason, I'm going to put it in the C category. All right, next up, we have a little bit of a sad update for this one, and that's going to be Final Fantasy XI, a game that I had previously rated really well despite its age. However, it was announced this year that the game was going to enter maintenance mode. Servers will be kept up, but the support moving forward will be limited. The stated reason was so that the developers attached to this old game could basically move on from this aging MMO and move forward with their careers by joining some exciting other projects at Square Enix. When it launched in 2002, this game was brutal. If someone in the group accidentally pulled one extra caterpillar, that was it. They had effectively cost the group hours of experience. The XP loss on death, the arduous journey back to your group's grinding spot. Final Fantasy XI was unforgiving and insanely fun back in its prime. Today, it's a lot more forgiving and a lot more casual and really nothing like it used to be. Its servers are still running and it still boasts a decent player base, but for the vast majority of players, it's long been replaced by Final Fantasy XIV. Unlike many of the old MMOs that were kept active after their prime, Final Fantasy XI did not engage in predatory and pay-to-win monetization. It's still, to this day, a sub-to-play MMO with no cash shop. Absolutely amazing. I wish we saw more MMOs age this gracefully. I previously had Final Fantasy in B tier thanks to the fact that it was still getting updates and it wasn't horribly monetized, but now with it going into maintenance mode, I think it's probably time to drop this old dog down here into the C tier. It's going to be a game that's fun to go back to and revisit for the nostalgia, but it's probably not going to be your main MMO anymore now that it's no longer getting significant updates. Next up, another titan in the genre, and that's going to be Final Fantasy XIV, originally launched in 2010 with a spectacular crash and burn before relaunching in 2013. It wasn't a spectacular crash and burn because it crashed, but because it relaunched in 2013 with such great success. Final Fantasy is one of the beacons all budding MMOs should aspire to. It has one of the best story experiences of all MMOs. It has exciting trials with bosses and stages transforming during the battle, all while an epic soundtrack that was made just for that fight rages on in the background. But not just that. Final Fantasy XIV also treats its players like people. There's no predatory monetization, no loot boxes, no pay to win, no create a problem and sell the solution. The best mounts are earned in-game. The best weapon cosmetics are earned in-game. Houses are bought with in-game gil. The game
As you say, best mounts and shit. They've been trying to get me to buy mounts since the start of the game. I can get a fat ass wolf mountain with weird eyes and shit. And don't know what the fuck this guy's talking about. Are they the best? I don't know. Slayer till I die. That's right. So it's a little confusing because I'm new on Final Fantasy 14. I just unlocked mounts, but yeah, there's some badass looking mounts I can buy for like $50.
The game doesn't even have a cash shop inside of it. You have to leave the game in order to open a web browser and view the cash shop there. Final Fantasy XIV watched as other MMOs over-monetized their games and chose not to. It has a new expansion.
So on the homepage, since I open it up,
2 new classes. Final Fantasy XIV isn't slowing down, and whether or not it's your cup of tea, you have to admit that it's doing a lot right, and it's treating its community the way you would want to be treated by your favorite MMO. And for that reason,
so I didn't hear. First, you talk about the shit. There's tons of mounts to buy. Pets, mounts, real money. Then it's also like $25 a month or some shit for the membership. And you still got to buy the game and shit.
we're going to go ahead and put it in the S tier. And on top of all that, it is one of the most popular MMOs out right now. Next up, we have Guild Wars 1, launched in 2005. Guild Wars 1 was a fantastic MMO in its day, and it still has a respectable number of players playing it today. It's definitely showing its age these days, and is long past its prime. But if you were a fan of the game way back when, it might be fun to revisit for nostalgia's sake. The servers are still up and running, and it holds up reasonably well despite its age, with minimal pay to win. While it still has people playing it today, it's probably not as many as you'd like to make the world feel alive and to make finding party members easy. I'm going to go ahead and put Guild Wars 1 into the C tier for nostalgia's sake. I could almost see myself putting it into the B tier just because of how well it's held up though. Next up, we have Guild Wars 2, which launched in 2012 and is probably one of the biggest underrated MMOs out there. Guild Wars 2 is free to play with purchasable expansions, so it's incredibly affordable to get into. Unfortunately, that also means a lot of the most exciting cosmetic progression is rolled into the cash shop, but not all of it by any means. The legendary weapons you can farm in-game look gorgeous. It has by far the best mounts of any game I've played, and it's not even close. Well, World of Warcraft is trying to close that gap by literally adding their mounts into it. But Guild Wars 2 has mounts that can fly, mounts that can jump super high, mounts that can go underwater. It's amazing. On top of that, it has some of the best zone design of any MMO I've experienced in its newer zones. The solo content experience is fantastic, and the group content is solid. The main questline is fully voice acted, both for the NPCs you talk to and your character. Guild Wars 2 is still adding tons of content to the game, still has a massive player base, so if you're looking for a buy-to-play MMO that doesn't require a subscription, it's going to be tough to beat Guild Wars 2. For this reason, I'm going to go ahead and put Guild Wars 2 in the A tier. Next up, we have Lineage 2, launched in 2003. Lineage 2 was an amazing game in its prime. It was a gorgeous subscription-based MMO with amazing castle sieges and raids. It was one of the games that inspired Ashes of Creation, and you can still see a lot of it in the UI of Ashes of Creation today. Unfortunately, today, Lineage 2 is a pay-to-win mess, a shell of its former self. It could be a fun game to revisit for the nostalgia, but it's not getting massive updates anymore like it used to. And so for that reason, it's going to go ahead and go into the C category, a game that's great for nostalgia and probably not much else these days. Next up, we have Lord of the Rings Online, which launched in 2007 and is another MMO that I'm going to be changing its rating in this tier list this year. For being a 2007 MMO, it doesn't look half bad. I think the main reason it didn't do better is because it didn't seem to do anything better than all the other tab target MMOs out there. Plus, it was launched in the middle of WoW's prime. So I never really got into it like I did with so many of the other MMOs on this list. I think if you're looking for something different to try and you're burnt out on the biggest MMOs out right now, there are enough people playing this to get into it and have some fun for a while. This old dog is still getting updates and it's reasonably monetized, and for that reason I'm going to go ahead and move it up from C tier to B tier this year. Next up, we have Lost Ark, which launched in 2022. Lost Ark is a fantastic game that I thoroughly enjoyed my time in for a while. I did hit a paywall, however, where you eventually are forced to buy materials from the cash shop or to create alts to do the same dailies every day, which can end up feeling like a job really fast. It's got housing and sailing, great zone completion activities, amazing dungeons, and raids. I had a lot of fun with this game. This is the game where the combat felt so good and the boss fights were so fun, I could almost put it into S tier, but but because of the monetization and the ways that it holds the game back, the best that I can do for Lost Ark now is put it into A tier. Next up, we have Mortal Online, which launched in 2021 with full loot PvP. This game doesn't have a whole lot that it makes you do, as it relies on players to provide their own content, which can
I
be
like
a lot
this
of
guy's
fun.
list.
Look at games like RuneScape or Lineage 2, for example. Tons of player-made content, great games in their time. I think if the combat wasn't so janky, this MMO could prove to be a lot of fun, but it's got directional mouse swinging combat that I just can't get into. If you play MMOs solely for the PvP and you enjoy full loot, you should probably give this one a try if the combat looks fun to you. But for me personally, I'm gonna have to put Mortal Online in the D tier. The janky combat and the full loot PvP just aren't a combination of activities that I'm looking for in my MMO. Next up, we've got Neverwinter Online, which launched in 2013, and it was a solid addition to the MMO genre when it launched.
Money,
By
money,
today's
money.
standards, it's still a decent game, but as oftentimes
I
is
used
the
to like
case
that
with
game.
MMOs as they age, the monetization has gotten quite questionable, many calling it pay to win. At this point, it's a
It
decent
is.
MMO. It's probably fun to go back and revisit for the nostalgia, but because of the monetization, it's going to be really hard to make this one
But yeah, you talked the same about Lost Ark, but yeah, you put it up here.
my main game, and for that reason I'm going to go ahead and put this in the C tier. Next up, we've got New World, which launched in 2021 but probably should have launched in 2023. This is a game that I had a lot of fun with at launch until I ran out of things to do. There just wasn't enough PvE content, and there were too many recycled assets ranging from enemies to entire towns. New World suffered through a pretty rough launch, but it has taken the feedback
thinking
from the
about China, I
community
bet
and
you
is
can.
committed to doing its best to fix all the issues with the game. So far, they've done a good job and made great strides. The game is 2 years old now, and night and day better than it was at launch. The completely free expansion that came out added an entire new massive zone and
That's
a new
what I keep
weapon,
hearing.
the great sword. Then,
Way better than
the
launch.
expansion
Way
came
better
out
than
and added
launch. I
maps,
quit.
which perhaps should have been in the
Launch.
game since launch, but hey, progress is progress. The monetization of the game is very fair, as it's a buy to play with no sub. They did, however, add a battle pass that is optional. I really enjoyed exploring the
I don't
world
mind
of New
battle
World,
pass.
and I hope to see it continue to improve. The future of this game looks
What
promising.
kind of
The
battle
monetization
pass?
is
We
completely
talking about
above board,
cosmetic
and
shit,
the
or we talking
developers
about
seem
something
committed
that's
to
like
making
pay
it
to
a
win?
great game. So I'm gonna go ahead and put New World into the A tier. Next up, we've got one of the most popular MMOs out right now, and it needs no introduction. That's gonna be Old School RuneScape. Old School RuneScape is certainly one of the titans in the industry, and also one of the most unique entries. RuneScape launched back in 2001. It was a browser MMO, and somehow became one of the most popular MMOs in history. RuneScape was the only MMO to get anywhere near WoW's player base size in its prime. Clearly, it did a lot right. But I had a computer that could run much more immersive MMOs like WoW, Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls, and as a result, I never found the time to get lost in RuneScape. But as the years pass, that's something I hope to change. With millions of players still logging into the game, with fair monetization, and still receiving sizable expansions today, this game is a really tough one for me to place. On one hand, I want to put Old School RuneScape into S tier. On the other hand, look at it. Is this truly the pinnacle of MMO immersion? It's a tough decision for me, but it is literally competing with World of Warcraft for the title of most played MMO in the world right now. Old School RuneScape also listens to the player base more than any other MMO by literally letting the players vote on what is and isn't added to the game. What Old School RuneScape lacks in graphics, it makes up for with everything else. So we're gonna go ahead and raise Old School RuneScape up to S tier this time. Next up, we've got Rift, which launched in 2011. It was a solid entry, but it fizzled out quite quickly. It was good, but it wasn't great. A lot of people talk fondly of the game and some of its unique systems, but with all the other better MMOs out there, I never found the time to make Rift my main MMO. And today, I might be able to visit it for a week, but I don't think I could do much more of it than that. So the best I'm gonna be able to give Rift is a C. Next up, we have a pretty interesting one, and that's going to be RuneScape 3. RuneScape 3 is the less popular RuneScape. It has an odd combat system that tried to move its animations forward but held onto its old slow tick rate, making everything feel a bit disjointed. This and a host of other changes caused many players to go back to what is called Old School RuneScape. While this game is still quite popular, the monetization of it and the really underwhelming graphics and combat make this one hard to put any higher than a B for me. It is still getting frequent updates, so it's still in a lot better shape than any of the MMOs I'm putting in the C category. Next up, we have Star Trek Online, which launched in 2010, and you can still play this game today. It was always decent, never amazing, but is definitely one of the more unique entries into the genre. It's not the most thriving MMO in the world, but you can still enjoy a lot of it solo if you're looking for a little journey through a sci-fi MMO. If you're a big fan of Star Trek, or you're a fan of sci-fi MMOs, which are criminally underrepresented in the genre, then Star Trek is probably worth going back and having a little fun with for a time. So I'll go ahead and toss it into the B tier. Next up, we have a kind of sad one that's also possibly kind of happy, and let me explain. We're going to be talking about SWTOR, which launched in 2011. It has a fantastic single-player campaign with a great story. It's got Star Wars and lightsabers, and all around was a great addition to the genre. It did ultimately end up lacking in the group gameplay department when compared to its peers. Last year, I lowered SWTOR to a B because it felt like the developer was putting the game into maintenance mode. That was eventually more or less confirmed when they later announced that they were handing SWTOR off to another developer to maintain. Still, Star Wars has some of the best story content in any MMO, with branching paths and different endings based on your choices, making it still worth trying if you haven't.
Damn, Potty, you said prayer. We were here.
To a B category. And let me go ahead and put on my tinfoil hat for a second. Maybe SWTOR is being handed off and put into maintenance mode because there's a new Star Wars MMO on the horizon being worked on by someone somewhere behind the scenes. There's definitely rumors about exactly that happening, so fingers crossed. Next up, we have Skyforge, which launched in 2015. It was pay to win and mediocre at launch, and it's pay to win, mediocre, and dead today. It was a game that simply wasn't good. Bad monetization, pay to win, and everything that you don't want to see in an MMO wrapped in an attractive bow. And for that reason, we're going to go ahead and put it at the D category. I really probably should put an F tier on this next time because I feel like Mortal Online doesn't deserve to be grouped with these MMOs down here. Yeah, I think next time I'm going to have an F tier for MMOs that are really the worst offenders because Mortal Online doesn't deserve that. It shouldn't be with these 3 MMOs. They're actually.
How was this most replayed? But yeah, this was most replayed.
Kind of broke my heart. This one had so much potential, and that's going to be Terra Online, which launched in 2011 and was a gorgeous MMO at the time. Best known for its fantastic feeling combat, the game was plagued with a lot of problems and ultimately was turned into a game that you could hardly recognize. Group content became solo content, leveling became compressed, monetization was cranked through the roof, and updates stopped until it was finally just completely shut down. In its prime, it had a lot of really cool ideas and was a fun MMO to visit, but what exists now is far from what it was. If you can find a server to play on, it might be fun to revisit for the nostalgia and to remember what it once was. But in the state the developers ended up putting it in, it's never going to be an MMO I can main again, and for that reason, the best we can do is C tier. Next up, we have an honorary mention, and that's going to be for Ultima Online, which launched in 1997. It's one of the forefathers of the MMO genre. It's long past its prime now, but it's definitely left its mark. There's still thousands of players logging in to play this game every day, which is insanely impressive when you consider its age, but it's old. It's really old, and it shows both in its gameplay and its graphics. It'd be fun to jump in and play for a few days to relive the nostalgia or to see what everyone else was talking about when they bring it up, but it's not an MMO I can main in the modern day. So for that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the C tier. Something that was probably a lot of fun back in the day, something that might be fun to visit for the nostalgia, but not something that holds up terribly well by today's standards. Next up, we've got Warhammer Online, which launched in 2008. Warhammer was a solid entry into the genre, but it was outclassed by a lot of its old school MMO peers, and for that reason, it shut down. It tried to carry the tri-faction war torch previously held by Dark Age of Camelot. The problem is, Elder Scrolls Online did a better job of carrying that same torch when it came out. You can still play it on a private server for a trip down memory lane, and it's surprisingly not pay to win, which means it's probably more fun to revisit than a lot of the old MMOs on this list. Unfortunately, server performance on the private Warhammer servers isn't great, and for that reason, I'm gonna say that it's best as a trip down nostalgia lane, and probably not much more than that today. Next up, we have Retail WoW, which launched in 2004 and is the most successful MMO of all time. With Blizzard boasting that the game had over 10 million concurrent subscriber and over 100 million accounts created all the way back in 2014, with many, many more since. No MMO comes close to the success that this MMO saw in its prime. While it's far from its prime today, it's still one of the most polished and complete MMOs today, competing for the #1 spot with Final Fantasy XIV and old school RuneScape. It's an old game, and it's been bleeding players for a long time now as a result, like the rest of them, but it's hard to dispute the evidence. More people have enjoyed this MMO than any other MMO in the world, and it's just announced not 1, but 3 new expansions on the horizon. It even brought Chris Metzen back to drive this machine. In other words, Blizzard is still investing a ton of money into this old MMO, making it hard for other MMOs to put out as much content and as polished content as World of Warcraft is. And for this reason, we're gonna go ahead and
Strength
keep
level
retail
up.
World of
Let's
Warcraft
go.
at S tier. Next up, we've got Wizard 101, which launched in 2008 and
I
was
got a
the
friend that
first
plays
MMO
that.
for a lot of players today. It featured a unique type of combat that revolved around collecting decks of cards and using those to fight your way through battles. It has farming, fishing, housing, and you name it. It still has an active player base, and it still gets tons of updates today while being reasonably monetized. So for these reasons, we'll go ahead and put it in the B tier. It's an old MMO, but it is still fairly monetized, and it's still getting updates today. So it might be something that you can go back and enjoy if it looks like your kind of thing. Next up, we have an MMO Lite, which is called Wayfinder, which launched in 2023 into its early access. Wayfinder has planned its full launch for 2024. This game is going to be a solid entry into the free-to-play scene. It's an MMO Lite.
What's up?
It's part action RPG and part MMO. You can do dungeons with other players, and you can see them in the open world, but it's not quite a full-fledged MMO. It's a young
down to
game, still in its
57
early
left.
access, so it's still quite light on
And no
content,
bigger, better.
which means that success is going to be largely determined not by what's in the game now, but what the developers choose to add to the game for the next year.
Snack break,
Right now,
I hear
in early
that.
access, Wayfinder is going to fall into
It's
a
like I
bottom
want
B
one.
tier, and if they keep adding great content, it can easily see itself climbing into the A tier. So if you're looking for a free-to-play game, definitely check out Wayfinder. Next up, we've got Blade and Soul, released in the West in 2016. In its prime, it was a great game with great combat, although way too instance for my taste. There were too many small zones for it to feel like a truly open world MMO. The more load screens I experienced, the less an MMO feels like an MMO. The game was solid and it was gorgeous for its time, but today it's probably best described as an almost dead pay-to-win MMO, and so for that reason, the best I can do for this one is put it into the C tier. Last up, we have a really interesting one, and that's going to be Throne and Liberty. This one has the potential to make a lot of us really happy or really sad, depending on if it lives up to our hopes or if it doesn't. And judging by the beta, well, gosh, that's really up in the air now. Throne and Liberty had a public beta in 2023, and the world hated it. It was not pretty. The game featured autoplay, offline play, and every bad idea you could imagine throwing into a full-blown MMO. NCSoft, the developer and publisher of the game, even had their stock price take a hit as a result of the beta's bad reception. Fortunately, the story doesn't end there, as the developers heard the feedback and have since said they would be removing all autoplay and offline play from the game. They also improved combat to make it less stiff, and I'm really
There was an
throwing this game
update
out
on
here
this
for
not
fun
long
right
ago.
now because technically I haven't played the final version of it yet, so we don't know where it's going to land. With a scheduled Western release happening later in 2024, we still don't know how this game is going to play out.
I don't know how
Is it
this
going to be
recent
as
beta
pay-to-win
went.
as other NCSoft games that are out right now? If Throne and Liberty feels like a PC game, I can see it doing well. Based on how the beta went, I'm going to put Throne and Liberty at B tier, with high hopes that NCSoft does enough to move this one up into A tier. And if the monetization is good enough, then hey, who knows? Maybe we'll see it hit S tier someday. But for right now, it's going to have to go into B tier. Alright guys, that wraps up this MMO tier list. Let me know if you think I got something completely wrong or I forgot an important MMO. MMO tier lists are super subjective, so if you did
Really? That was funny.
What's up guys, my name is Spyros and welcome to my channel.
That was fun. I don't think he meant to.
Link in
It was
description.
that wall.
It's time for the funniest moments on YouTube. Without further delay, let's go.
Oh.
No, I missed the fucking auto. I missed the lock. Oh my god.
Cited me the other day.
Okay guys, Can you provide an explanation for what transpired here? It's a moment that requires some clarity.
Steal it somehow. Come
It's
on!
not-
I'm
Here,
slamming at this
crash.
so hard right now, bro.
He's crashed.
Crash it or fucking steal it somehow. Dude!
Get ready for the comical highlight of the day. It's time for some light-hearted and amusing entertainment to brighten your day.
Are your ankles? Oh, I missed it. Damn it. If I hit it, I got that. Breaking ankles again? The nut, not the nut! I can't get away! Oh, yes! Yes, he's fine! Yes.
Holy shit.
Dead.
The blues.
I got you, Joe, man. I got you.
This is the very definition of a WTF moment.
This guy
It
again.
seems like this player broke the game, creating something unique and unprecedented.
Wait, it's crashing again, bro. What is happening to this game, man?
What's happening to your shit? I
Do
wouldn't
not
be that
crash it.
close.
I need this guy to be reported. Don't crash
Back
it.
up.
Doing it. I would rather lose the game and get in permabans than keep playing. Or maybe it's this guy. This guy's crashing it. Okay, this guy's crashing it.
The highlight of this clip is how this guy managed to survive after the enemy's huge attack.
That's his
It was a
shit.
gang fail for them.
We all get crashes like that.
Wow, the three of you are fucking dog shit. Uninstall this shit immediately. How do you fumble a 4-man gank when you have 3 ults on me? You both can fucking drink me like a Slurpee. On God,
Kill
you
this
can drink me
dude.
like a Slurpee. There's no way they just fucking fumbled that shit.
A classic heart-wrenching rip moment in this video game, demonstrating its emotional depth. This game truly knows how to tug at heartstrings.
Why you recall? Oh fuck. You try to get the kill.
Why the fuck have we F7 this game? Like,
Aparte yo no tengo el starter de defensa.
¡Hola! ¡Hola!
That was funny.
Nos robaron.
That was good.
This clip resonates with the...
Pretty much his ult can like stretch the match. Stretch the whole map. And the guy's recalling to go back to his low health. So he timed it when the guy recalled, he got hit.
well-known phrase, clean as heck. The opponent was efficiently and stylishly cleaned.
There you go. Nice, nice.
Oh.
Oh. That didn't kill you? What?
I'm too clean, bro.
How did he not die there?
He simply outclassed the enemy players and managed to survive in the end. To be honest, it was a close and lucky battle.
Yes, I'm better than you.
so.
Oh my god, you're so.
Bro.
The ultimate LOL moment in the game's history. A hilarious Twitch highlight that I'm confident everyone will enjoy.
Bro, is this real? J-Beam! What the fuck is J-Beam smoking, bro? Holy shit.
Now, remember guys, if you're enjoying the video, to hit the like button, it makes a massive difference in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to see the most epic plays first on a daily basis, then subscribe to the bell notification as well.
Wait,
Excuse you, what? What'd you do? You fart? Oh, the hydrate. Drink? You want me to drink? Where's my liquor? Hang on.
This Anher is on fire. It's the perfect example of how to finish a game effectively and with style.
Damn.
That's it. Tanks. Tanks, you mean thanks? She don't know how to talk now?
If you want your clip to be featured and for us to promote your social media, submit your clips using the email in the description down below. And if we consider that your highlights have something special, we will feature you.
Oh, I'm going huge.
It's like we should send in a bunch of my clips. The rat going on.
No, I tried to jump. Okay.
I probably got that last kill yesterday. Still took out, what, 3, and the 4th one got me.
You fucking dumbass. No fucking way, this guy's so fucking dumb. Yeah.
Oh, my pot's over.
Highlight moments like these evoke the famous phrase, "not even close, baby." It's the intricate details that ultimately determine the outcome.
I don't know if I'll survive this. Dog, kill him!
He was on the verge of an epic pentakill. In other words, his team trolled him, but okay. They seem to enjoy this sad event.
They're both kind of low. Oh, nice, you got one. My God,
Morgan.
nice.
Out the Freya, this is it. This is game, baby. Quad right here. Quad, give me the quad, give me the quad, give me the penta. Give it to me, baby.
Kill him, kill him.
Yo, you fucked up, Mom! Why would you do that?
Enemy has been slain. Killing spree.
Thank you very much, guys, and especially all subscribers.
You're a turd now. You literally look like a
Oh shit, that's gonna take MMR. Get it? I actually didn't know this one.
My extra gold!
I'm
Are you doing it? They already cleared it, didn't they? Oh, I'm looping, Nice. Oh, you're cracked! Oh. Going crazy. Just running around.
This is what, our 3rd bracelet slaughter here?
It hits hard. What the fuck just happened? So stupid. This god's dumb. Such a gimmick god.
Okay, never mind. I'm good at solo. Let's go.
He got me.
I have heal soon. 1 minute.
I'll just be full health anyway. Why do I just feel like I got slowed?
There's no roll. Oh, watch out, watch out. Oh, shit, nice.
About time to start hitting the tower?
Yeah. Yo, be ready to leave solo, bro.
Yeah, me. Ripped.
You want to do it when the teleporter comes up? Nah, it might be before, bro.
Shit.
Killing and sharding.
This is actually pretty funny. Like they're slapping that ass.
Yo, that roll is crazy. Like, oh, it's like just fuck the shield buff.
I'm not saying why doesn't he stand in front and take that hit?
Oh, he's crazy. Hold the shell. Guess we're killing Kama too. Oh shit, I didn't realize purple was up.
Yeah, fuck purple.
I think we just push and take their purple from him.
No, Cam already did the purple. No,
Oh, he did? He took his purple? No, he did. He's going to ours.
This is the tower. Fuck it.
Yeah, fuck this. Whatever, dude. I don't need purple buff.
Yeah. Alright, blink
3 minutes 13.
Ooh, that would've been sick.
Alright, in the back. 3-minute tower, yo. Start crossing.
Holy fuck, that tower got demolished.
Yeah, start going left.
Oh, I need like 100 gold. Wait. Why is that? Can I kill him?
This is actually getting sad, man. Where's the bigger batter at?
You got him right? Oh, no. They had him. Nice. Commitment. Yep. Lane swap.
Oh, and I got septic.
Just like the whole match. Yeah, this would be cool. Let's see what he's got to say.
Alrighty, boys and girls, it's tier list time. Why is it tier list time?
Because
Why
of
have things
updates.
changed? I'm covering this for the first time. I don't know why I never did this before. There's a patch every month, guys. And on top of that patch once a month, the following 2 weeks after that patch, there's a nerf patch. So you have one patch that changes the game, and 2 weeks later you have nerfs. So the game changes, and then it changes. And then 2 weeks later it changes again, and then it changes. So if you're ever like, Weekend, how come Ares was D tier last month? I don't understand. Because there's a fucking patch. That's why.
That's funny. Oh, I didn't drink my pot.
There was a patch, changed a lot of the game. Auto attackers are back in. Some other gods have shifted and moved and been buffed and tweaked, and you know, here we are. Achilles, A+. Why A+? I think I usually put him in S, but I might have put him in A+ last time. The big reason for him being here and not really, you could argue A, and I wouldn't say you were wrong, would be because auto attack solo laners are OP. And the ability one, like Achilles is still good, but like even for ability, I'd probably play Wukong rather than Wukong, right? Agni got a massive buff. I don't think he's a must pick, but I do think he's a top pick. I think he should not be picked banned every game. Like you shouldn't have to waste a ban on him, but probably one of the best team fight mages in Smite right now. He's crazy. Absolutely wild. If you're wondering what he changed, his ult, he can keep moving. It's just at a slower pace, so it's really easy to hit a lot of those combos that you were missing before. He also got buffs not too long before that, and all the items are also working in his favor, so it makes no sense not to play Agni. AMC, I'm going to put down an A tier. His one's still dope, but as an ADC in this meta, he's nowhere near the top. Opwash, super counter pick.
Yo, what's going on, Dozer?
I think Opwash really only gains value when your anti-heal is countering their healers, because they have healers.
How's your day, man?
Ama, I'd say an A+, even though she can use and exploit Equinox and the auto attack items. I don't think it's the same as the actual auto attack gods, so I'm gonna put her in A+. Honor, I think is still one of the best hunters. Probably like second, third, fourth best, probably third best. So we're gonna put him here. You're not banning him.
What's up, pal?
There's other gods that are worth banning, and he's not one of them. He's not that OP. He's just very good. I think
Off work, hell yeah.
really good.
Time to chill, play some fucking games.
Good. Underrated. Hyper pressure, guaranteed kills. Not a lot super.
Might eat me a bowl of cereal soon for lunch.
You can out trade a lot of people right now. I've been running like triple and quadruple lifesteal builds on Honor, and it's really.
Hey. Out there, what is this? I need to see because there's people coming. And I want to be trying to eat when they're here. 2 games I've been playing, huh?
Really nuts.
Well, that's 2 out of like 10 that I play, but you know. You must be loving it. Some old school content and some fucking Smite content.
Alquag, very, very strong. Seen a tank Alquag.
He's always been strong.
That works. Jungle Alquag works. I'd say it's probably the best mage jungler. I don't think I'm forgetting anybody, right? I think he's the best mage jungler in the game. Aphrodite,
And how you play a Smite, you ought to know weekend.
Apollo, fairly weak, just not that great. I'd say I have him in B tier almost as like a split push god, like super situational. You're trying to do some weird stuff. Arachne, probably back
Really?
to the best jungler. Especially for ranked, and the lower ranked you are, the better she is. So SS at pretty much all tiers, or playable at all tiers.
We might have to try Ratney again. Didn't like her last month.
Ares, top support. I love Ares. I think you top pick him as long as you can hit chains. He clears lane. He only has a couple gods that are better, like really good against him. His team fight is nuts. I think Ares might be my #1 support now. Yes, that comes down to mechanics. If you don't have the mechanics, play something similar. If you do have the mechanics, play Ares. I keep seeing Art talked a lot about right now in mid lane, and it's just this normal ability
Mid lane?
build. So I don't know why
Ability?
that's happening. Like why people are saying she's one of the better hunters in mid and being slept on. I want to try.
I do
to
like
figure it
her
out.
as a carry.
I'm gonna leave her in A, maybe even down to B because of her low mobility. Ardio, I'm gonna put Ardio in situational. So for me, B is situational. It's like counter picking, good against certain comps, that kind of stuff. Ardio as a just every god, every game god, not there.
Hang on, y'all. Let me see. All right. Oh my, don't start to eat them all. Yeah. That might be what I'll do. But kind of need to do it now, but we got so many people in the stream. I don't want to do it now. I need like 15-minute break to eat some fucking cereal for lunch. Oh, this is depressing. 21 to go. No bigger, better. Out of 274 kills so far.
A lot of the times she can't play the game.
380K.
Even as a support, but situationally as a support, if she works in lane, if she counters other gods, I have her there. Athena, I'd put up there with Ares just because of the global ult. Atlas, I'd say, is extremely average. Wheelix, I think, is a little overrated.
Helldivers.
Last tier list and last patch, everyone was saying she's the best jungler in the game. I think she's very good. Her ult is cracked, but I don't think she's the best jungler in the game, especially with the auto attack gods coming out. I think she's very good. The more consistent you are with knockups, obviously, the better she is. So I'll leave her at A+. Baba Yaga, still the most slept on mid mage.
She's awesome. I like her.
A+, probably A+ just because she isn't hyper pressure, and hyper pressure right now in this meta is better. Bacchus, my other top support. Lane pressure guarantees winning it. Can group the lane up and poke whoever he wants at the same time. Very, very strong support. Baka, I think, moves up with this meta, with the Equinox meta. Also moves up. So you'd say, oh, he's just better because Equinox. Not just because Equinox. They also made invades worth more gold, and it scales up faster. So Baka, one of the best invading junglers in the game. You're very safe at getting in and just running away and clearing faster than everybody else. So Baka moves up. I could see over time him moving up to S, but he's still countered. Like, Arachne's going to outplay him. Kali's going to outplay him. Nemesis is going to outplay him. Like, in terms of just junglers, there's a lot that's still better than him. Even when you go to ability junglers, Bastet should still outplay him. There's a lot that's just better than Baka. They didn't nerf Equinox? Not that I saw. And even if they did, it doesn't feel like it. Bake might be... Oh, dude, I forgot about him. Right before this tier list, we were talking about who the worst god in the game is. It's Bake.
What?
It's absolutely Bake. That
They
god
nerfed
is
him like that?
complete and utter trash. He is the most boring god and the worst god at the same time. He is definitely the worst god in the game. Completely forgot. Baron, I would say, is situational because of his lack of movement, and he has to guarantee...
It's kind of bad. He was badass.
Bastet, I think, is the best ability jungler in the game. I don't think she's worth banning. I don't think she's scary, but she's very, very good. So I'm gonna put her in S tier.
She's a pain ass to fight against.
One of the better solos right now. Will win almost every lane against everyone, but maybe like a Wukong or something that doesn't get ganked. But in reality, Bologna is cracked and gonna stomp your rank games.
What's up with Wukong right now?
Not Kumba. Karakin hasn't moved. If anything, he's weaker. Kamazot's still kind of the same. Decent ability jungler, but nothing over the top. And because he's not as safe as you would think, like Bastet is actually safer than him now because of the way her one works. Cerberus, I kind of like for an aggressive support. Or if you need a Guardian, Magic solo, Guardian solo, still put him in like an average tier. CERN is weak. Man, I'm gonna be honest. I'm trying to be...
No, not that low, huh?
Between anything too much here. I don't think CERN is average.
Cernos, I like him.
One of the worst hunters. I'd probably go
What? I like my Cernos.
You don't have a CC immune ult, so you're easy to gank and fight. In team fights, you're easy to kill. Your team fight ult isn't even that great. I think he requires way too much from his team to be relevant, or he needs to stomp his lane, and stomping your lane should not be prominent against the other hunters that are in this game right now. Chalk, I think, is solid, but not anywhere near a lot of the other warriors. Chunga moves up. Chunga with the change. So they made it so her abilities, like the dance part of her abilities, gives her more movement speed. So what happens is, when you cast an ability, you get a speed boost, basically, for that channel, that duration of like half a second. She got more movement speed on her abilities, so she is so good at kiting any melee gods right now. Very, very good, especially with Doom Orb and the other items that she builds. So I'll move her up. Charon, I think, is still a solid support. I don't think I'd put him in S tier. I'd probably put him in A+. Ranked-wise, he's probably one of the most annoying supports still, next to maybe Bacchus, maybe Ares. Charybdis. I'm gonna put Charybdis in situational. My reason being, I think she's good at lane pressure.
Oh fuck.
And she's good at surviving, but her team fight is a lot weaker than most of the other hunters. And her ultimate is still probably the worst ult in Smite. What makes Arachne SS? The builds that you can build, Equinox essentially, and auto attack gods just being beefed up again.
Maybe I need to be using Equinox more.
They did tweak Arachne, because they nerfed the 2. So it's also because of what they did to Arachne. A couple months ago, they buffed Arachne, and they made it so her 2 only needed 2 autos to stun somebody. Now what they've done is it's back to 3 autos to stun somebody, but you keep the attack speed the entire duration, even if you stun somebody. So it's really, really, really strong for just actual team fighting and not so much ganking. I feel like she's still good at ganking, but a little bit weaker. Equinox, it depends on the god. Like jungling, you're gonna go mannequins on Kali, Arachne, Baka. You go mannequins, you go tier 2 oboe, then you go Equinox, and you finish out your build, and then you finish the oboe. Shardabog, I'd say, is an average hunter. I think good for rotations, decent in lane. Chiron, I think, is a solid mid, A+. Hits very
So everybody does
hard,
tier
as
2
long as you are
though.
farming properly. Chronos, I'd
Then
say,
wait
is
till the
average.
end to finish it.
Been playing against some
I never
Smurfs,
did that.
That's about it. Cleo, I'd say, is average.
I wonder
Lots of
why.
CC makes me not want to put her higher. Cthulhu got buffed and is doing better, but I still feel like the AA Warriors dumpster Cthulhu with the Equinox in the game. There was a right before Equinox in the game, Cthulhu was like the top next to Odin. I'd put Cthulhu a little bit lower now. Cullen, I'd put even lower. Average at best for a warrior. Cupid.
He's playing Chivalry.
Situational. I think Cupid sucks. He can't clear. Easy to kill. No CC immune ult. Dodgy, one of the better junglers in the game because of the ultimate. Great god at bursting. Solid early mid game. Good consistent damage. And then an ultimate that either buys you time if you overcommit, or it kills anybody that doesn't have beads up, or burns beads if they have beads up, which makes you a good ganker. Dan's, I'd say, is average at laning phase.
Oh, come on.
Also average. Disco, I'd say situational if you're looking to buff teammates. Erlong Shen, way up on the jungle tier list. He is beast with Equinox. Absolutely nuts. I don't know. Like, you can go a hybrid build on a lot of these warriors in the jungle, but I think I would just go full damage and play him like a full committal. You'll pub stomp doing that more than anything. ESET. They buffed ESET. I think ESET is a little slept on. I think good ESET players.
She was good last month.
Everyone else just doesn't give her the time of day. They made it so her 1 does damage faster. Same amount of damage, just faster. And
I might have to. When I rarely go gold though.
I swear
But
they
yeah.
did something else, but I can't remember what it was.
They're talking about bow, not the blade.
Way stronger. Fafnir, I'd say, is a solid
I haven't ran Golden Blade in a long time because of that relic starter. It does basically the same shit, almost.
Ports. Fenrir, I would say, is a solid jungle. He can just go either which way. The bigger lead you get earlier, the better. I'd still rather have AA junglers than him. Freya, I'd say average if you need a...
Well, my Fafnir. Look, I got a guy in here that plays. Where's my Fafnir?
Doing good damage, which is nice. I don't know how the fuck they're like 3v1ing you and you still can do it. Like, I get they're low, but still, 3v1 on a Guardian should not be this difficult. Oh my god, you fucking, oh my god. Bro, what? Kill him, fuck it, turn around, kill him.
I mean, I can't. I don't have the lifesteal I normally have. Normally, I got one lifesteal item.
Enemy missing.
I'll never forget last season I went Gilga solo lane and I had
That was funny. Talk about my Fafnir. My Fafnir, am I right? I lost my video where I like team wiped with Nemesis crit build and shit. Like, I clipped it. I don't know where the clip's at. Might be on the old PC.
Yes. 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 You fucked up, bitch. I watched. You fucked up. Motherfucker thought I was just running away.
I was pissed, is what it is. The game before this went fucking horrible. And then motherfucker was giving me issues all game, a few of these guys. And this is where the revenge came in. That Hercules was pulp stomping me, man. Just look at the teammates they got. Like, you can see.
Who'd you kill? Big? That's that? Nice.
Nice. Bitch! Get out of here, motherfuckers!
Yeah, my ass went toxic. I shouldn't have drank that one. Yeah, that shit drove me insane. I should have had that match on here. Yeah, I was like, I got clips between the old PC being fought. Like, this is a newer PC. Maybe a month old. I need to dust it. I need to grab a wet rag today, tomorrow, and dust it.
Ganesh, I'd say, is it. Actually, I put Ganesh in A+. I think Ganesh just slept on support as well. He does good in lane, and then his team fight is really, really hard to play on into.
I know I got. Let's see. This is my Kuzumbo shit. Years ago. I don't even see it. My Scotty shit's name here. It's an old video, like 4 years. I remember because everybody's giving me shit about my crit. I don't know if you remember the old Demon Blade and shit, like the throwing stars.
You're killing it out there.
20 and 12.
An ally has been slain.
Look at my health.
No one can out-scratch you, am I right? Penta kill. Show 'em the money. I'ma be real. Your tracks are whack. An enemy has been slain.
That shit was fun. That shit was fun. It's not here. Yeah, Kuzumbo. What was it? Last season in ranked 13 and 0. Like Kuzenbo is my shit. Yeah, I love crit and lifesteal, man. That's my shit. What the fuck? What is that? What is that? So that has nothing to do with me. So them things can summon them. Huh. Never seen that. I wasn't sure there's some weird event going on like they do in RS3. The Kuzenbo match was fun as shit.
Are you trying to sneak him and shit? Like, I didn't want that, but you know. Man, I got this
Yeah.
bitch.
Hearing me talking so much shit. What was it? Damn it, you're flipping too fast, you asshole. I can't do frame to frame. 6 and 2 there. 25, 13, 37.
Come on, bitches. Too far away, bitch. Wanna be nothing to me. Keep walking that right lane.
I don't know if you see, look. So I'm keeping them all busy. A couple of us, 2 of us, look. 2 teammates there, teammate there.
Bitch.
Look.
Get wrecked! What am I fighting? Oh, I'm fighting a Titan. I'm fighting a Titan.
Cause like this whole time, if you look. Look. So just a couple of us too. Keeping all them bitches busy. Like. Look.
Get wrecked,
Look.
bitch! Get wrecked!
There goes the
What am I
Phoenix.
fighting? Oh, I'm fighting a Titan. I'm fighting a Titan.
Oh, I'm done. When did I finish?
Get wrecked! Get wrecked! Kill these minions! Kill the minions! Get wrecked, bitch!
That was funny. But yeah, hang on. What did it say? Oh, 14 and 1. I went 14 wins.
Straight up fucking
And
this
then
right there.
this jungle of ours. Dude, we were fucking this game. We was through. Look, we're all typing them at this point.
Oh, fuck. I didn't mean to do that.
Hey, right out the gate, this jungle was being toxic. Did I even show the scoreboard? Now I'm so aggravated. Like, you can see I'm aggravated as fuck. Didn't even show it. Like the dude out the gate was like saying he was throwing out the fucking gate. Like, so here I am, 14 and 0. And then this guy's gonna purposely throw a ranked game. But I need to take my lunch break, y'all. And I think we'll end stream. I don't know, I kind of feel weird if I'm gonna leave it for 15 minutes or longer on be right back. I probably would feel better if I had an overlay that was like lunch break with a timer. Say 30-minute timer. That would be cool. I'll have that. Oh, what am I doing? I don't even know what I'm fighting yet. Hang on. Let's see what we're fighting next. The last time I fought these bitches, I feel like they really messed me up. What should I wear against these bitches? Let's see. I want to be ready.
In this video, I'll show you how to kill the skeletal wyverns. You'll need 72 Slayer to kill the against their icy breath. The elemental is a particularly good option since it's rather cheap and gives some good strength and defense bonuses. The ancient wyvern shield, but I can't see much reason to spend your money on these, as you can simply equip your free mind shield when luring them and switch to an offhand like a twisted buckler,
But
mage's
this one
book,
keeps you
or
from
one of
getting
the god
frozen
books from
completely.
Horror of the Deep. Skeletal wyverns count as draconic creatures, so the Dragon Hunter lance and crossbow are super effective here. If you're using the lance, you'll want to use the pound attack style as they have strong stab defense. But if you can't afford these, you can easily get away with some cheaper alternatives like whip options that will work fine for you on screen now. Just make sure that if you're gonna be ranging or maging them, that your Slayer helm is imbued so you get the add.
I was just wondering if he threw on some kind of different gear. So just bring my melee gear. See why? I wonder why he's running that
Damage boost for
shield.
those styles as well. You can of course upgrade these setups with gear like bandos, primordial boots, Zenai jewelry, Pegasions, and so on. Kill them in the normie section, where you can set up a cannon to speed up the kills. If you're gonna be using ranged, this is by far the easiest safe spot to set up. Retaliate and AFK here for a while.
I wonder why. One, 2, 7. -2. 7, 8, 7. Actually has way higher defense. 10. But this. What do y'all think? Anybody got an idea? We go melee over there. How about this -2 hurt? It also have negative attack bonus. Ouch. Maybe we don't bring this. Could bring this. We could do that and just try to go up and just slaughter. All right, let's see. So I'm gonna take a lunch break. I actually know because we need to we need a little bit more food, and then we're also gonna be grabbing the bones. So I don't think they really drop herbs. No, they might. It's just so we can try. But no, I think we actually need our armor for this one. You know what? I don't want to go faster or slower. So wear that instead of a slaughter. Then this will work. We need a way to get there. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna end stream for a little bit, 20 minutes, man, so I can give me some lunch, and then I shall be back. You gotta eat.